welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and today I'm going to be giving you a tiny little book haul as well as the books that are on my radar for the month of August. Today is August 1st. I'm filming and uploading this video hopefully in the same day, and I am not going to be doing a July wrap up this month. July sort of went haywire for me in the middle, and so the books that I actually finished this month are all on reading vlogs that I previously posted, excepting Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. So I'll tell you now, I'm finishing Great Expectations by Charles Dickens currently. My plan is to finish it today once I get this video uploaded. And I don't really want to rehash all of those books because I gave my thoughts on them in those reading vlogs. So I'll link those two reading vlogs down below if you want to go see what I read. I read a couple of books the first week of June and then maybe one or two. And then in the second week of June, I read 5 books in the week. So that is all in the reading vlogs. So I'll leave those linked down below if you want to know what I read in June, but they're all included there except for Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. So I didn't really want to rehash all of those books again since I did give some of my thoughts on each of them in those 2 vlogs. So I did some book shopping in the last week. So in lieu of a July wrap up, I wanted to give you a little book haul. So last week, the first place where I went book shopping was an independent bookstore where I bought 2 books, and the first of which being Rilke's Book of Hours, Love Poems to God by Rainer Maria Rilke, translated by Anita Barrows and Joanna Macy. And this I just thought was a completely beautiful edition. It's got deckled edges, which I personally do like. It's not great for tabbing, but it makes it look super cool. I've been wanting to read Rilke's poetry for a while, and whenever I go book shopping, which I'm more likely to choose secondhand book shopping over firsthand book shopping, but when I have gone to my secondhand stores that I usually go to, I've not found any Rilke collections. And so when I was out at the independent bookstore, I thought, why not? And I purchased this brand new copy of Rilke's Book of Hours. And I read a couple of the poems out loud to my best friend, and we both were sort of flabbergasted. At least I know I was flabbergasted. I don't know the extent to which she was pleased by the poetry, but I know that she liked it. And I was flabbergasted by how much I related deeply to the few poems that I read. So I'm really excited to dive deep into this pretty soon. The next book that I purchased at the independent bookstore was 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. If you can't tell, I am a fan of Emma from her channel, Emmy. I am very much inspired by her reading tastes, but I have been wanting to read this book ever since I heard her acclaim it so highly, and I found this copy, this edition, which I've never seen before. Actually, I've only ever seen the fully colored cover, but this one, the title and the name of the author is engraved, as well as this little line drawing is also engraved. And this one also has deckled edges, which I won't mind at all. I'm really excited to get into 100 Years of Solitude sometime soon. It is about 100 years in the life of the Buendia family who live in the mythical town of Macondo during very important parts of history in Colombia, I'm pretty sure. So I'm very excited to read this book. The author is Colombian, so that's why I made the guess that I made. And my friend who is half Colombian also has been wanting to read this book. So I'm very excited to have this in my hands, ready to be consumed. I might take it little bit by bit like Emma did on her channel, or I may gobble the whole thing up all at once. We'll see. Who knows? I'm just really excited for the experience of reading this book that is so highly acclaimed. The next place I went was an antique shop, which is more up my alley, secondhand gem searching, book shopping. And the first thing I got when I was there was this Love Poems of John Keats in Praise of Beauty collection. I had 3 books in my hands and I only bought 2, and I had decided I needed to only get 2. And so when I was trying to decide, I opened up, you see it has a little bookmark here, and I opened up and the bookmark was on the poem To Emma. And so I just decided, since that's my name, I needed to get this collection. And I actually think that I'm gonna make the decision right now to get rid of the dust jacket because you know, I really like it just like this. It's very, it has a really nice texture, and I love the color of the Naked book, and it also has a gold written spine. So this is The Love Poems of John Keats in Praise of Beauty, which I'm very excited to also get into. I bought a lot of poetry. There's a lot of poetry in this book haul, which is very exciting for me because I've been reading poetry for the first time recently and really enjoying it. And so I'm very excited to dive further into poetry. That being said, I also, at the antique store, got this New and Selected Poems Volume 1 by Mary Oliver. She wrote one of my favorite poems, The Invitation, of my very small knowledge of poetry, but The Invitation is one of my favorite poems. I want it tattooed all over my body, written all over my walls. I think it's amazing. And so this is a selected works as well as some new ones, and the poems are split up by section of which book they are from, because Mary Oliver has an immense amount of published collections of poetry. So I'm just really excited to be impacted by the way that Mary Oliver sees the world, and all of its simplicity and beauty. Then I went to Books A Million, and it was a bargain. You guys, it was such a bargain. I went to the buy two get a third free classics table and got these 3 books, the first of which being The Poetry of Oscar Wilde by the famed author of The Picture of Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde. I love The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I thought this was beautiful since I'm wanting to read more poetry. Obviously, I want to read Oscar Wilde. He is an icon in all respects, and I am super pumped to see more of his poetry. The beginning of the introduction of The Picture of Dorian Gray is a poem of Oscar Wilde's about art and the purpose of art, and what art does in the world. And so I loved that piece, and I thought it was one of the strongest parts of the book. So I'm very excited to see what is contained in here. Next on my 3 for 2, I got The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I am a huge musical theater fan. I was a theater kid in high school, and so The Phantom of the Opera has always been my favorite musical. Not always, but like ever since I discovered The Phantom of the Opera in like 7th grade, I've been obsessed with it. I've seen it in New York. I have watched the 25th anniversary edition so many times. I am completely obsessed with Sierra Boggess and Romain Carmelu and Norm Lewis, who was the first Black Phantom on Broadway, which was amazing. And I just am really excited to see the original story, see what's the same, what's different. And I also think that this cover is beautiful. I've been wanting to purchase a copy of The Phantom of the Opera, but like I said, I usually shop secondhand for books, and so I've not been able to find a cover that I really like, and I really like this one. Next on my list of spooky gothic books is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I am super excited about this. I have Frankenstein, and I wanted to read them together in October, which may change. We'll talk about that in a second. I have not always been someone who very easily consumes classic literature, and I think as I grow and my brain develops, it's a lot easier for me to consume classic literature, and I'm really enjoying it. I've been doing a lot of it lately, as you can see from my reading vlogs and my videos. So I'm very excited to read this and read Phantom and read Frankenstein and get all of the good gothic novels in my brain. Can you tell I'm excited about the vampires? That was my 3 for 2 bargain, and on a different bargain table, I found a copy of a book for $3 only that I was super pumped about, which is Peter Pan and Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens by J.M. Barrie. I am pumped to get into the original story because in my mind, this may not be logical, but in my mind, since Cinderella and other Grimm fairy tale stories, is Cinderella a Grimm fairy tale story? Anyway, it stands to reason since a lot of the Disney classic tales are a lot more gruesome in their original forms, then maybe Peter Pan is a little more sinister? I don't know. We'll see. I've heard that Peter Pan tries to kill the lost boys if they try to grow up. I don't know how true that is, but it's a little terrifying, so I'm kind of excited about this. So that is the end of my book haul. Now we're going to move into the second portion of this book, which is my August on my radar. I am such a mood reader that I don't really want to set a definitive TBR, but I am going to say that I am intending to participate in the summerween read-a-thon that's hosted by Olivia Reads a Latte and Gabby Reads. It is the week of August 24th to 30th, so I'll link the video, Olivia's video in a card right here, and then both of their videos in the description. That is obviously, I mean, I don't know if they intended it this way, but I feel like it's a nod to one of my favorite TV shows, Gravity Falls, which is very exciting and makes me happy. But I want to participate in this read-a-thon not only because it's Olivia Reads a Latte and I love her a latte, but also because I have so many creepy books that I don't think I can fit them all in the month of October. I actually don't know how my schedule is going to be working at that point, that week of August 24th to 30th. I might not be able to read that many books at all, but I will probably vlog my reading experience and trying to read in the midst of college and work, study work, and all of that. So I'm really excited for that, but I'll make a separate video or include it in another video what my TBR is going to be with all of the prompts and such for Summerween later this month. I want to give you my on the radar books for August in general before Summerween. The first thing I want to finish up before I head back to school next week is Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. I have been reading this for many weeks now, taking my time, enjoying it so much, and I only have a few short poems left, so I want to finish this up and take it with me to school, having completed and read the entire Leaves of Grass. Next is also a book that I would like to read before I go back to school because I'm not going to take the book with me to school, and it's Mansfield Park, which is within this ginormous Jane Austen 7 novels edition. I would like to keep going with my Jane Austen reading, and so I had Mansfield Park on my TBR last month, but obviously things didn't go to plan last month. So I'm just gonna try to read it out of here before I head back to school. Next thing I'm gonna do is continue with the Wayward Children series. I read so much on audiobook on Scribd in the beginning of the month of July that I got restricted and I didn't follow Olivia Reads a Latte's guidelines, which are only listen on Wi-Fi and don't save books. I had a lot of books saved. I was listening on cellular all the time, so they were able to track my reading and restrict a lot of the more popular titles. And so yesterday I got my full Scribd privileges back, so I'm going to be listening to the Wayward Children series. I've listened to the first two, Every Heart a Doorway and Down Among the Sticks and Bones. So next up is Beneath the Sugar Sky. The other two books after that are In an Absent Dream and Come Tumbling Down. I don't know if I'm going to get to those this month, but I know I really want to continue with the series because I am absolutely loving it. Another thing that I had planned to read in July that I didn't get to because my script was restricted was The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. The New Jim Crow is all about how mass incarceration of Black individuals, especially Black men, is serving as the new form of slavery, the new form of the Black Codes, the new form of Jim Crow, which is where the title comes from, a way to discriminate and disenfranchise Black people in our country. So obviously a very sobering read, but I think a very necessary one. I read Stamped from the Beginning by Dr. Kendi, and that was really like a historical survey, an in-depth historical survey to be fair, but a historical survey from the first use of racist ideas to the present day. The New Jim Crow is about more recent times, and so I'm excited to see, excited may not be the right word, but I am intrigued to see the bigger focus on contemporary present time in this book. And then other things that I'm thinking of reading soon are Rilke's Book of Hours and this Mary Oliver collection. I feel like Rilke is someone who you could read all of his poems very quickly, or at least read this book very quickly, because his poems tend to be rather short. This is the German version, this is the English. But his poems tend to be rather short, so you could read all of them really quickly and be like, wow, that was fun. But you could also go back and glean a lot of meaning out of them. So, and I feel like Mary Oliver may be the same way. I'm not sure, so these are just on my radar for things to read next, as well as is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I really have no idea what I'm going to read next, but I'm just letting you know what I'm thinking of, what my mind is leaning towards. I may get to school and not be able to read, which would be super sad, but I am trying to schedule into my day a reading hour. So an hour where I could listen to an audiobook and embroider, or an hour where I could sit and read, or an hour where I could take a nap. Sort of like a reading day in a university setting, or a reading week, I guess is what they are. I don't know, my school doesn't have them, but a reading week, or you have a week off to study and prepare for exams. That's sort of what I want to integrate into my everyday, is a reading hour where I could just sort of do whatever is going to bring me joy that day, or make me feel refreshed, just, you know, as a form of self-care. So reading may very well be a part of that reading hour every day. Nevertheless, these are all the things that are on my radar. I'm going to be, unless something goes wrong, participating in summerween at the summerween read-a-thon at the end of this month. I've got some new books in my collection, and all of those will be going with me to college as well. So I have quite a collection going with me. Let me know. I have been considering making more lifestyle study tube sort of content when I get back to school. I really enjoy study content and productivity content, and I think I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to make on this channel, and thankfully I chose a name that is malleable. I don't have to stick to books. Rosemary and ink can sort of work with anything that I want to do. So let me know if you'd be interested in any sort of study videos, or if there's something specific that you want to know about. Just let me know. Holler at me down in the comments. That was cringy, I'm so sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video and for being here today. I so appreciate it. I think you are lovely and wonderful and amazing. I hope you are doing well, and if you're not, I hope it gets better soon, and I hope you love what you're reading, and please wear your mask and wash your hands. I'll see you again soon. Bye.